everybody, welcome back. I was going to do something last week, but unfortunately my video camera got broken somehow. I'm not sure. At first I thought it was the charger. It wasn't the charger. Then I got a new battery for 55 bucks. It wasn't the battery. So have a new camera coming. So I thought I'd try the iPhone and see how that works for now. Anyway, today we were supposed to get rain here in Texas, and we haven't had rain here in, I would say, probably 5 weeks, and it's not good. So originally they said 60% chance of rain today. Now they're down to 30. So my guess is we're not going to get any rain. So I thought, when I thought we were going to get rain, I thought, well, that's be a good brew day. So I'm going to do an amber ale. And it's going to have 7 pounds of 2-row in it, 2 pounds of caramel, crystal malt, and just 8 ounces of Munich Malt. So we'll see how that turns out. I've never done one of those before, but I have everything going right now, and we should be ready to put the grain in just a few minutes. So hopefully this thing's going to turn out okay. Last week I actually bottled 152 bottles of beer. I had all-grain Kolsch I made. I had an old kit of Weizenbier, so I decided to do that. And then I had an old kit of pumpkin stout. And I thought, geez, that in the last time I did the pumpkin stout, it turned out great, but it took forever to carbonate. So I thought, well, I'll do it now, and by this fall it should be ready. So the good news is I bottled that stuff a little over a week ago, and the Kolsch and the Weizenbier are already carbonated, and they taste great. So maybe we'll talk about that next week. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started on this batch, and back in a couple minutes. Okay, so we've mashed in the water, and we have that sitting now for about 75 minutes. And when that's done, then we'll go ahead and start to make sure that we cycle the water, the brew back in, the wort, to make sure that we don't have any grain coming out as we put it into the boil kettle. And then we'll go ahead and we'll fly sparge. So 75 minutes from now, we'll start to go ahead and get ready to dump it into the boil kettle. All right, next step is just make sure we got a good grain bed here. Start very slowly letting the wort out. And when the wort starts coming out, you'll see grain to start with. And then what we'll do after that is once she runs clear and we've recycled it, you can see the grain in the bottom. Then what we'll do is we'll actually start to fly sparge. So back in a minute. Okay, so we're fly sparging now. And what I'm looking for is about 1 inch to 2 inches over the grain bed. And we've just started. And meanwhile, we have slowly wort going into the boil kettle. So once the boil kettle's full, we'll bring it to a boil and start throwing in the hops. Okay, it took over an hour to fly sparge, and actually about 1 hour and 15 minutes. And now we're going to boil the wort. And as soon as we get to a rolling boil, we'll add the first set of hops, which are centennial hops, 1 ounce. That'll boil for 60 minutes, and then the last 10 minutes we're going to boil 1/2 ounce of centennial. And somewhere in between there I'll be throwing in the wort chiller. All right, we got a rolling boil going here, so we're going to add the 1 ounce of centennial hops, and then we'll be back when there's 10 minutes left in the boil. All right, 10 minutes left in the boil, so let's add the 1/2 ounce of centennial hops, and then as soon as that's done with the 10 minutes, we'll start to chill it down. All right, we're dumping into the fermentation pail, and this will probably take about 5 minutes. Then I'm going to aerate the wort, throw on the lid, the airlock, and I'm done. So kind of a long day. I think we're looking at around 6 hours here. So anyway, hope it turns out good. Okay, that's it. The amber ales in the fermentation pail, and hopefully everything goes well. I aerated it through the cap on and the airlock, so we're good to go. This is my High Life ale again. Still have probably a case of it left, so anyway, cheers. It's definitely going to be a staple here. So anyway, things turned out a little bit different than I had expected. The beersmith had told me that my pre-boil gravity would be a 1.043, and I actually ended up with a 1.045, which isn't too far off. The post-gravity reading they expected to be 1.049, and I ended up with a 1.053. So maybe that I just extracted more grain out than, more sugars out of the grain than the model assumed I was going to get. So anyway, that's it. Let's see how it turns out, and stay tuned for that one. And hopefully back next week with a camera that actually works. So until then, have a great Homebrew Wednesday, a great week. Bottoms up. This has been a Matty Boy presentation. Say bye-bye, Matty. Bye-bye.